As the government shutdown dragged on, the effects were felt far and wide, impacting not just government employees, but also the communities that rely on government services. The uncertainty and anxiety were palpable, with many wondering how long the stalemate would last, and what the long-term consequences might be. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz stepped before cameras to announce $4 million in emergency state funding for food shelves, supporting those hit hardest by the crisis. This move was seen as a lifeline for many families struggling to make ends meet during the shutdown. The governor's announcement was met with a mix of relief and skepticism, as some questioned whether this funding would be enough to address the growing needs. He used the moment to draw a sharp contrast between his administration's priorities and what he framed as the Trump White House's misplaced focus. Walz emphasized the importance of addressing immediate human needs over what he described as extravagant and unnecessary expenditures. Walz declared, "We are here today to talk about what our priorities are," underscoring his commitment to the welfare of Minnesota's residents. He spoke passionately about the need for government to be responsive and responsible, especially in times of crisis, and then delivered the line that would ignite controversy when the White House press secretary said the top priority is the ballroom. We could not disagree more. This statement was a direct jab at what Walz perceived as the federal administration's misplaced priorities. This soundbite quickly became a rallying cry, painting the administration as more concerned with lavish projects than with struggling Americans. The media and public latched onto this narrative, amplifying it across various platforms. The narrative was simple, emotionally charged, and tailor-made for social media, where it spread like wildfire. People shared and commented, adding their own interpretations and emotions to the mix, but it demanded closer scrutiny. The complexities of the situation were often lost in the rush to judgment, and the true intentions behind the statements needed to be examined more carefully. Was this really what the White House meant, or was it a case of political spin taking a quote out of context? The truth, as always, was likely somewhere in between, requiring a nuanced understanding of both sides. To truly understand the uproar that followed, we need to revisit the original press briefing and examine the circumstances in which the remarks were made. The setting was a typical day in the White House press room, with journalists gathered to question the administration on a range of topics. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation, as reporters prepared to scrutinize every word from the podium. At the center of it all stood White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt, tasked with fielding questions and clarifying the administration's positions. Her role is not just to inform, but also to shape the narrative and respond to the media's persistent inquiries. During this particular briefing, a reporter posed a question that was narrowly focused on White House renovations. The journalist specifically asked about any new construction projects beyond the already announced ballroom and the Rose Garden patio, seeking details on whether additional changes were planned for the historic building. Leavitt responded candidly, saying, "Not to my knowledge, no," and then elaborated, "He's a builder at heart, so his heart and his mind are always churning about how to improve things here, on the White House grounds." Her answer was meant to convey the president's ongoing interest in the physical upkeep and enhancement of the White House itself. She concluded her remarks by emphasizing, "But, at this moment in time, of course, the ballroom is really the president's main priority." This statement was intended to clarify that, among all possible renovation projects, the ballroom was currently at the forefront of the president's attention. In the full context of the exchange, it's clear that her comment was specifically about construction projects and not a reflection of the president's overall policy agenda or national priorities. The focus was on physical improvements to the White House, not on broader issues of governance. The phrase "main priority" was used in reference to building and renovation efforts, not to the administration's governing philosophy or legislative goals. It was a straightforward answer to a straightforward question about construction. However, once the quote was removed from its original context and circulated in headlines and social media, it became ripe for political misinterpretation. Stripped of the details, the phrase took on a life of its own, fueling debate and controversy far beyond the walls of the press briefing room. After Walz repeated the claim, it exploded across social media and sympathetic media outlets. The image of a president prioritizing a ballroom during a shutdown was irresistible political ammunition. Memes, video clips, and outraged commentary spread rapidly, often omitting the original context. Prominent Democrats and activists amplified the message, reinforcing the narrative with each repetition. The original nuance, that the ballroom was the priority among building projects, was lost. Instead, it became a symbol of misplaced values at the highest level of government. The story's simplicity and emotional punch made it far more shareable than any fact-based correction. As the claim saturated headlines, fact-checkers like PolitiFact stepped in. They traced the quote back to Leavitt's original remarks, noting her answer was strictly about White House renovations. PolitiFact rated the claim that the ballroom was Trump's top priority over national issues as false. The verdict, the statement had been stripped of context, fundamentally changing its meaning. Other fact-checkers agreed, but their corrections struggled to break through the partisan noise. For many, the narrative had already taken hold, regardless of the facts. The ballroom claim became a partisan talking point, immune to debunking. The Republican National Committee and the White House quickly fired back. The RNC condemned Walz for shamelessly continuing Democrats' lie about Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt, accusing opponents of manufacturing controversy. Press Secretary Leavitt herself took to social media, bluntly telling the governor, "Stop lying, Tampon Tim." This aggressive personal response was classic Trump-era communication, direct, combative, and designed to rally the base. The GOP's strategy was to reframe the issue as Democratic dishonesty and media bias. By going on the offensive, they shifted the debate from the president's priorities to the tactics of his critics. The pushback solidified support among Trump's base and muddied the public debate. The controversy became another front in the ongoing partisan war. Governor Walz wasn't alone in his criticism. He was just the first in a growing chorus. As soon as the ballroom story surfaced, it quickly gained traction among other prominent Democrats who saw an opportunity to highlight what they viewed as the administration's misplaced priorities. Democratic leaders across the country wasted no time echoing the ballroom claim, amplifying it through press conferences, interviews, and social media posts. Their unified front made the story difficult to ignore, and it soon became a central talking point in political discussions. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, for example, posted on social media, "The Trump administration just declared that erecting a ballroom is the president's main priority," contrasting the supposed focus on renovations with urgent real-world issues like inflation, rising healthcare costs, and economic uncertainty facing everyday Americans. This coordinated messaging effort created a powerful echo chamber, where the same narrative was repeated by multiple voices, reinforcing its impact and reach. As the story was picked up by newspapers, television, and online outlets, it began to seem more credible and widespread, regardless of its accuracy. Multiple leaders repeating the claim ensured it dominated news cycles and shaped public perception, making it the lens through which many people viewed the administration's actions. The goal wasn't to foster a nuanced debate about the necessity or scope of White House renovations, but rather to paint the Trump administration as out of touch with the struggles of ordinary citizens, and to frame the ballroom as a symbol of misplaced priorities. Message discipline among party leaders turned what began as a single quote into a potent symbol, repeated so often that it took on a life of its own. The more the claim was repeated, on television, in print, and across social media, the more it became accepted as fact by the public. For journalists and fact-checkers, breaking through this wall of repetition proved challenging, as corrections and clarifications struggled to gain the same attention. The strategy demonstrated just how effective disciplined messaging can be in shaping public opinion and driving the news agenda, even when the narrative is based on a misinterpretation or incomplete information. In today's media landscape, repetition can be more powerful than accuracy. Beyond the rhetoric, the White House Ballroom project is a real construction initiative. The plan replaced the East Wing with a new grand ballroom for official events. Estimated cost, $250 million, but crucially, it's not taxpayer-funded. According to the White House, Trump and private donors are footing the bill, making it a privately financed gift to the executive mansion. The design will accommodate 650 guests and match the White House's neoclassical style. The project was planned well in advance, not as a whim during the shutdown. Understanding these facts separates legitimate debate from misleading claims about public funds. The real controversy is about timing and optics, not misuse of taxpayer money. At the heart of the controversy is a basic misreading, or misrepresentation, of Trump's priorities. Levitt's comment was about construction, not governing. Critics conflated a statement about a building project with the president's overall agenda, creating a false dichotomy. In reality, leaders juggle multiple priorities. A president can care about a legacy project and the shutdown at the same time. The narrative that Trump cared more about a ballroom than Americans was emotionally effective, but factually misleading. The nuance that main priority referred to a specific context was lost in the rush to score political points. The debate became about perception, not reality. The incident is a reminder of how language can be weaponized in politics. The Ballroom Blunder saga is a case study in how a decontextualized quote can become a powerful, misleading narrative. The original statement was about renovations, not national priorities, and the project is privately funded. The claim spread rapidly, fueled by emotion and repetition, while fact checks struggled to keep up. In a polarized environment, simple stories travel faster than nuanced corrections. This underscores the responsibility of citizens to verify claims and seek context before sharing. Democracy depends on a shared understanding of reality, not partisan spin. By insisting on accuracy and context, we can help inoculate ourselves against misinformation, even in the most contentious times.